Sligo is in northwest Ireland. It's the land of W.B. Yeats. It's wild and beautiful, tempestuous, violent and enchanting. And I wrote this on a trip that my brother and I made many years ago. One of the more bizarre moments was coming across 7 elephants dancing in the street one day, and that was just one of the many adventures. But anyway, Sligo, senses 1 and 2. Wings of evening, riding a pale pink moon, orphaned a blue sky gift of longing, time hanging generous of its own account, a stillness nestling deep and rhythmeth the silences of belonging. Sweet smell of Sligo, that sensual embrace of turf burning, integral, generations old and contemporary, musky ambient of memories confident, distilled golden, a fireside storytelling's magic, heat steeped crowning, the hearthside's accommodation of love. Sligo is in northwest Ireland. It's the land of W.B. Yeats. It's wild and beautiful, tempestuous, violent and enchanting. And I wrote this on a trip that my brother and I made many years ago. One of the more bizarre moments was coming across 7 elephants dancing in the street one day, and that was just one of the many adventures. But anyway, Sligo, senses 1 and 2. Wings of evening, riding a pale pink moon, orphaned a blue sky gift of longing, time hanging generous of its own account, a stillness nestling deep and rhythmeth the silences of belonging. Sweet smell of Sligo, that sensual embrace of turf burning, integral, generations old and contemporary, musky ambient of memories confident, distilled golden, a fireside storytelling's magic, heat steeped crowning, the hearthside's accommodation of love. Snow is gentle. This has actually become a song and a bit of a memory piece for my friend Billy and myself. When I read it to him one night, he said, "That's the song, you know, Seamus." And I said, "What song?" And then 2 or 3 months later, we were in a recording studio and he was laying down the track. And when I admired it, he says, "Do you think you could hear some electric lead guitar?" And on the next take, he played the most perfect, in one take, guitar lick. It's called Snow is Gentle. The icy fingers of memory dance across a winter dawn. Snow is gentle over Medhamsley, falling and suggesting a time of long ago, when innocence was for granted and we would never be alone. I dream, and it is of winter, mornings with breath fresh in the air, all the world before you, and never a care. Shaw's Bridge, River Lagan. At the age of 12, my younger brothers George, 18 months, and brother Peter, I think 11, we were involved in an explosion with our late father in our former home, which had been taken over by the British Army. It was what was called in Belfast an interface between the Catholic and Protestant community. And when Dr. Giles's mansion house next door became vacant, they took it over. Unfortunately, then it became a focus for tensions and rioting, and a pipe bomb ended up in our backyard, and Mum and Dad decided to buy an alternative property, initially as an investment, but then for us to move into. And as it turned out, we lived in Kinnaird Terrace for many, many years. But on reflection, looking back on this, it's an examination of the fact and the reality of the fact that I probably left my life that day and was somehow miraculously brought back to it. And it occurred to me as I walked around a beautiful area of Belfast at Shaw's Bridge, which is on the River Lagan. Shaw's Bridge, River Lagan, the explosion, that second, a bridge of time. Free all physical reality, aware as never before. No sound, no vision, pure awareness that you are extant of this world, aside the physical, recipient of and creator of love, life prison, caught of light. Big Lovely. This poem is a memory of a visit. In fact, it turned out to be the last joint visit between my mother, my late sister Rosemary, and it's very hard getting used to that phrase, and myself to Lindisfarne. Mum adored Lindisfarne, and I had the privilege of spending 2 nights on the island when it became an island, and it's a different atmosphere entirely. So it's called Big Lovely, and you'll note from the closing lines that we did expect to revisit. Well, we never did, but maybe this poem means that we're always going to be able to revisit. Big Lovely. We followed the daffodils north, each bankside dancing in joyous splendour. It is early April, and Northumberland is alive with glorious birdsong. Mum harvesting every melody as we go on our own sweet way. Love envelopes us all in Big Lovely. Into Tynemouth, with Admiral Collingwood staring down, St Mary's Lighthouse magnificent in the morning sun. Blythe by lunchtime, holding out for sea houses when justice was done to all its fish lodge delights. 2 eider ducks nuzzled up close, reminding us that Daddy is no longer here. The foreign islands lie bathed in sunlight. Holy Island, our destination just beyond. We timed the causeway just right. We entered upon Lindisfarne. In a moment it had us in its sacred spell. We denounced King Henry when the Vikings were really to blame. He had it coming, so that was all right anyway. We prayed for our bishop, and St Aidan came to mind. Sheila Mackey's cross presented in reverence, a reminder of our special dear friend. We had a foothold on this sanctuary of spirit and mind. We didn't want to leave, as Luca Bloom whispered, that we would all one day return. The island gave us her blessing and sent us on our way. An hour took us home, and tired but refreshed did the pilgrims store away the memories of this glorious and big lovely day. For Mum Rosaline and Sister Rosemary. I've been very lucky in my life to have met 2 world-famous poets. One was Stephen Spender and the other was Seamus Heaney. Heaney in particular was a very gracious, simple Ulsterman, a bit like a dairy farmer really, but he was so gracious and lovely. I'd always intended to meet his colleague Ted Hughes, and really when I was getting into him I was horrified on the plane back from Lanzarote to discover that he had died during the fortnight that we had been on the island without newspapers and Sky News. Anyway, I wrote this about and in tribute to Ted Hughes, and it was based about a location near to where I live called Vindamore, which is translated as Edge of Dark Moor. Hughes was quite a dark poet. He refers to the thought fox, and it is a matter of public record that he was into the occult. But it's not so much that I celebrate, it's the fact that he was a true lover of and supporter and guardian of nature. He didn't ignore the cold, violent reality of nature, but that in its essence is part of what nature is. Anyway, Vindamore, Edge of Dark Moor for Ted Hughes. In the rain, after the fox's gilded walk, I level command of all within your kingdom, singular your lonely path, about all nature's bidding, instinctive symmetry of what is right and where danger might lie, you cut a path, from where and to what only you in your divining knows is your highway. What be the measure of this route? for it is the chosen path of love. As water over stone. This is really a tribute to a friend, and I think it reflects anybody that I was ever very close to. It's called As Water Over Stone. As water over stone, the smoothness of your skin glistens to those firefly eyes. A radiance emanates from you, envelop me in a golden mist, pure as dew. Can I do it again? Day to day, particularly in court when I was waiting to get on, funny little phrases would come into my head and I would get an accent to go with it. And this is one of the pieces I wrote. And for some bizarre reason, it's a South London accent. It's called What Day of Kings. So maybe it's about the most average of days can be in many ways the most special of days. What Day of Kings? What can you say? Words inadequate. The memory of love's well in the dwaith even. Soft focus, glowing in the dark, barren a moonless night, haunted, crying in the dark. Bare seconds, a word so singular, the loneliness of existence. Travelling, no expectation, love sense, sustaining as it cuts the quick, the chase. Life's springboard, fearful the fall. What day of kings sacred, this love of it all. Remembrance, River Derwent. This was written on a Remembrance Sunday, and I'd been out for a drive. For some reason, Eve wasn't with me, and it was a lovely spot that I found near to my home. And as I was looking down into the water, I thought about the losses of those two horrific world wars and the fact that wars never really stop, and the people that enjoyed their lives had it robbed from them. Remembrance, River Derwent. A gentle quietness, Sunday and sublime. It is Remembrance Day, and I sit at water's edge on the River Derwent, watching the waters flow. Ebchester, old in its human history, holds me in its craft. I am lost in the while of this gifted moment. Time is in my grace. I gaze down into the waters on drowned crestfallen leaves, drunk in their autumn harvest. They lie spent, melting into their ancestry. How the seasons pass, expectant yet unknowable, the river dances with surface tributes of life. Intimate in the moment, this precious personal now. A pair of birds fly across this graveyard reflection towards infinity, their ghost twins caught in the dark riverbed. I am between worlds. In this present, that which will someday be this remembrance, this heritage. The Chieftain's Sleep Place. This is about visiting W.B. Yeats's grave in Sligo, and it's one of the key places to visit in Ireland if you have any love of poetry or culture. Bizarrely, on one of my other visits to the graveyard, I found a man lying full length on top of the grave, having an afternoon sleep. He'd obviously had a very good, long, liquid lunch, and I managed to waken him up, probably to his displeasure. And when I asked him why did he do it, he said, well, it's a nice spot because the sun around 6 o'clock wakens me up. But anyway, the Chieftain's Sleep Place. Light tricks of wonder dance across your limestone-cut mystery words, taunting, playing merry, your modest resting place. Here the poet rests with his wife Georgie, magic companion. In rhythm our Irish imaginations, casting your spells, the music true, pagans smiling at the dancing swans that crown the church door, the Chieftain's Sleep Place, and dreams magic of Sligo eternal. Familiar things, this is just really a sequence of words. I'm not sure I've really ever grasped the meanings of it. Familiar things. Silence be the meter of my heart, that love will be no stranger to me. At Ardelaide just after dawn, a fresh bright morning newborn and belonging. a protecting arm cloud crowns Donard, hugging close, making intimate, a gentle harmony of blue, almost beyond believing, delicate in this bird song's wonder, playing merry gentle in its own sweet easy. Morning Mass at the Grotto, and it's appropriate that I'm reading this in a church that's very dear to my heart with our dear friends in the Millensley Art Group. Morning Mass at the Grotto. Be not afraid, for I am with you always, in your darkest hour. I am in your dawns dreaming. In the time of sadness, I am the chink of light at the door. Be not afraid. I am your beginnings and in your end, in your living and in your loving mysteries. Do not be afraid. As water over stone, this is really a sequence of words in tribute to a friend, and I think it reflects when you admire someone, not just for their physical attributes, but their spirituality. As water over stone, the smoothness of your skin glistens to those firefly eyes. A radiance emanates from you, enveloping me in a golden mist, pure as dew soaked bankside at dawn.